All right, so we are here going to break down ZENKAI Red BOJACK. Dude, they waited so long to drop the data down. They were waiting for the Rapture to drop the data download. Why are they delaying this so long? It's like an hour after what it usually is. Okay, so this BOJACK, there's two things this guy does, I think, that could be pretty interesting. The first thing, obviously, is he does support. I think it's movies and powerful opponent are the two tags that he supports. And he supports them both after and before transforming. So that could be obviously very good. And then the other thing this guy does is, don't forget, this guy transforms with his Awakened Arts card. Remember, Ultra Fusion Zamasu's buff removal activates against Awakened Arts cards. So you can actually waste an opponent's Ultra Fusion Zamasu buff removal charge with this guy's Awakened card. So I think he actually could be pretty interesting right now if they make him decent here. This guy is a defense type. This is an anniversary character. Let's see what they did here. So this is before he transforms. He's got some pretty solid defenses right away. He's got 190 to both, essentially. A little bit more blast defense. Strike attack and blast are pretty similar. His offenses certainly are not very good. But let's just take a look at his stats after he transforms. Yeah, this is this is an old school transforming character. I think with a lot more recent transforming characters, sometimes we tend to see not so crazy stats after transforming. But back in the day, look at his HP. Back in the day, this is what transformed stats used to look like. So he's like around 200,000 defenses and what is that, like 306,000 strike attack and blast? That's pretty good with that arts boost, huh? Okay, and then obviously powerful opponent and movies are his two teams. That's, you know, two teams is not that much, but I guess it could be worse. He does get damage guard on his strikes and blast cards. That used to be reduced damage received. They just changed the wording to damage guard. I guess the one thing to mention is you would expect a character like full power BOJACK to have blast armor on his strikes, but he does not, just because he's old. So, all right, the blue card, massive damage on activation, special move damage, 40% on hit, destroys 3 enemy cards. I believe that's the same. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the untransformed version. Massive damage. Yeah, this is basically destroying 3 cards. I think this is the same. Actually, this might not have done massive damage. I remember him destroying cards on blue card. And then, yeah, I remember he gets sustained damage cut penetration on his green, which is now damage guard penetration. 10% health, 40 key. Remember, this is a stop time green. Before he transforms, this is a stop time green card. Draw speed. Okay. If 60 timer counts have elapsed from battle start, he draws an awakened card. That's new. So they added a different method to be able to transform with him. This is actually relevant, and I'll mention why once we get to the main ability. Here's his awakened card. On activation, health plus 20%, awakened damage plus 150%. On hit, transform into full power BOJACK. Enemy health restoration minus 50%. This attack cannot defeat the opponent. Yeah, I don't think he got HP on this. So him healing from this is pretty good. So the reason why him getting a awakened card from the green is significant is because he typically would draw the awakened card with his main ability, right? Destroys 1 card, then draws the awakened card. He removes the opponent's vanish here. So I think there are instances where maybe you want to just use this instead of even using the awakened card. You just use this as a way to gain priority on your opponent. Like, let's say you go for a tackle against your opponent. They counter your tackle with a strike card. You vanish their strike card, and you use the main ability to remove their vanish to guaranteed start a combo and gain priority on them. A lot of times, either your awakened card will get destroyed, maybe you just don't want to use your awakened card at that point, maybe there's other things you want to do, maybe you have like 1 Dragon Ball left you can get to farm a rush, and you end up just rushing instead of using the awakened card. So the main ability, removing the opponent's vanish, I think does have useful situations where you don't always necessarily want to use the awakened card, And that, I think, is why they decided to give him a secondary way of drawing this, because that's his only way of transforming. So 50 key, 10 counts of nullify special cover changes, destroys all enemies' green cards, and then, yeah, vanish removal on this as well. Okay, the way that we used to use this back in the day when he came out during the 3rd anniversary is you'd be comboing the opponent with a different character. You'd use a strike card, and then you'd swap into BOJACK, press his main, and launch this. And what that would do is it would drop the combo, and then they'd get hit by this, and you transform at the same time. All right. So he's buffing powerful opponent, movies, both defenses, and then powerful opponent, movies, blast attack. Now, the ZENKAI ability, I would assume he's going to be buffing red movies. I would assume. If it's powerful opponent, that could shake things up a little bit. Okay, yeah. It is movies. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much in line with what I expected in terms of maybe this guy being an allusion towards Part 1 of Legends Fest. All right. Damage, 150%. Damage against Saiyans and Super Saiyans, 20% each. Yeah, he had that prior to ZENKAI. 150% damage guard, key recovery plus 50%. Damage guard being at 150% is actually pretty good for a ZENKAI character, considering what they've been doing to a lot of recent ZENKAI units. Also, on top of the fact that he's got really high defenses. All right. From battle start until transformation or defeat, yeah, this is the support. Movies or powerful opponent damage plus 20% on battlefield entry based on the number of based on the number of remaining battle members. That's your battle members. 30%, 50%, or 70% damage. So obviously he gets stronger the less battle members are alive on your team. So if he's last man standing, he gets 220% damage. Okay. Most of the time, you're going to have 30%, so it's not like a huge buff, but it is just good to note that, I guess. And don't forget, he's also getting his own support, right? So I guess he's getting an extra 20% from this. Battlefield entry, draws a card, 5% health. 5%? That's it? If they're going to give him health on entry, I mean, give him 10, right? 30 key, destroys one enemy card. Enemy strikes / blasters cost -5 or +5. Okay. On cover change, during next combo, receive damage guard plus 50%. Yeah, I believe he had that already. But that's the next combo received. So him cover changing doesn't automatically give him that damage guard. It's he cover changes, you take a hit until the combo ends. And then once the combo ends, the next combo, he gets that 50% damage guard. Nullify damage received element. Oh, he's got type neutral defense. I believe that's new. Type neutral defensively for 3 counts. All enemy subcounts +3. That is a very powerful defensive ability. That's one of the reasons why Ultra Super Vegito is as good defensively as he is. Well, he was good for a long time, a few months since his Platinum Equipment drop. I think he's still a pretty effective defensive character, but obviously we've gotten some pretty good offensive units recently, but that's a really, really, really powerful defensive ability. You just locking in your opponent, forcing them to stay in, not switch, not draw cards, not gain key. That's powerful. When enemy attack ends, restores health by 20% of damage received, up to 20%, and then he gets 40% damage for 15 counts. Yeah, so again, you get hit by tap attacks, tackles, tap blasts, whatever, quick attacks, that's going to activate. When on battlefield, an enemy activates ultimate / awakened arts or rising rush, ally subcount -5. He already had that. Actually, I think they might have added ultimates to this. I don't know if he actually did this in versus ultimates. It might have only been versus rising rush. When hit by enemy arts once, subcounts on switch -2. So that's him subbing out. He'll be able to come back in 8 counts instead of 10 counts. Enemy key -20, enemy card draw speed -1. When ally is hit by enemy arts, nullify special cover changes. Okay, so that's the same cover null condition as Ultra Super Vegito and like Red Beast Gohan. It's not great. It's not a great condition at this point. So defensively, he's got destroys 1 card, enemy cost +5, enemy key -20, card draw speed -1. It's all right. On strike / blast arts use, draws a card once, key +5, enemy health restoration -5%. Okay. Let's check out what he does post-transformation. So these are the same. This gains just special move damage. Now this is a melee green. So he goes from having a stop time green to having a melee green. So when you use this, 10% health, 40 key damage. I was hoping he'd get Dragon Ball Destruction on this. Damage plus 25%, damage guard penetration plus 25%. On hit, he draws a card, and then of course you can chain that in. Main ability, draws special arts next. Okay, so he draws a green with this. 30% health, 50 key, damage plus 30%. Enemy, he destroys Dragon Ball with his main. Enemy Dragon Balls -1. Also based on number of remaining battle members, draw speed +1, and then 1 is draw speed +2, and then cover null. Okay. Yeah, he had the card draw speed part of this already. I just want to see what's different here. After landing Awaken Arts until defeated, damage plus 40%, damage guard plus 30%. All arts cost -5. Ally sagas from the movies are powerful opponent damage plus 20%. Okay, so I'm just looking at the damage guard numbers. So he's going to be transformed. Oops. He's going to be transformed. Remember, these carry over. These are all uncancelable, so they carry over to him being transformed. So 150% damage guard here. 30% damage guard from me. So he's at 180% damage guard here. Plus, remember, he's getting 50% damage guard after he cover changes for the next combo. So that's 230% damage guard with these defenses. That's going to be pretty good, I think. I just don't like that mechanic, really, of like, okay, you cover changed, and then, oh, not this combo, but the next combo, you're going to have extra damage guard, because for all we know, the next combo could be a tackle, right? and then it could be over. Draws a card, health plus... Okay, now he gets 10% health after transforming. 40 keys, draws enemy card. Yep, that's the same. On cover change, yeah, he's got the same thing. 50% damage guard there. Type neutral, enemy subcounts +3. When enemy attack ends, restores health by 30%. Damage plus 40%. Yep, that's all the same. Same. And then that's the same as well. Yeah. Okay. You guys want to know what my biggest issue with this character is? There's actually two big issues here. The first big issue is his cover null condition is bad. This is a bad cover null condition, typically speaking. I mean, you could definitely find areas where it could be useful. And, you know, I'm going to showcase this guy today. I would imagine that there's going to be times where I have cover null up with this character. But thinking back to how it felt to use Ultra Super Vegito, who had the same exact cover null condition, it was tough. Like, you had cover null up with him very rarely, I felt like. So, we'll see. And then to make things worse, the reason why I think this cover null condition definitely felt a lot better with Red Beast Gohan, and this is going to fit into my second issue with this character, and they've never done this for a Zenkai before, but I think they should probably start to do this, is this guy has no blast armor on his strike cards. And the reason why that's significant is because this mechanic, if you have no cover null and you use a strike with blast armor to go through an opponent's blast card, that gives you this. That activates this mechanic. Because you yourself count as an ally who's getting hit by an arts card. So this actually, if you use a blast armor strike card to go through an opponent's blast, you get 10 counts of cover null off of that. Right? Ultra Super Vegito doesn't have blast armor, which is why it felt pretty hard to get that activated. But Red Beast Gohan, who has the same condition, has blast armor on his strike cards. So you would blast armor through opponent's blast cards, and you would just give yourself cover null off of that. So again, they have not given Zenkai characters blast armor on their strike cards if they didn't already have blast armor before they Zenkai'd. But I think they should probably start doing that, especially if they're going to start giving characters mechanics like these that just benefit way more from having blast armor. And I think at this point also, just a character not having blast armor is a pretty big weakness for the character, because it opens up the playing field for your opponent to initiate against you in so many more ways. Opens up quick attacks, opens up mid-range blasts. It's just, it's a lot harder to... from the opponent's perspective, it's a lot easier to initiate against a character than the blast armor, because you don't have to play around a bunch of these things anymore. So I think my biggest issue actually is the fact that this guy doesn't have blast armor on his strike cards. But I think from a defensive standpoint, and the fact that he does have the buff removal, not the buff removal, the vanish removal on his main ability before he transforms. I think the awaken card should hit pretty hard. I think this guy could be interesting. I just there are very obvious holes in his kit here. So, and I think that's actually all we're getting this week. I don't think there's any equips. There shouldn't be any equips because there's no PvP resetting, no co-op resetting, no Ultra Space Time Rush resetting. Let's just do a quick sweep here. Don't think there's anything. Let's they just do a surprise drop. Oh, okay, you know what this is actually? They're putting this in the data a week early. This, I think, is going to release next week. And the reason why this is going to release next week is because next week, the 19th, is going to have no content. And the reason why it's going to have no content is because the next day, the 20th, is the reveal for Legends Fest. And then the day after that, 21st, is when Legends Fest actually begins. So there's not, I honestly, I don't even know if there's going to be a data download at all next week. This is next week content right here. This one Awakened equip. But then 2 days later, we'll have Legends Fest. So yeah, this actually just makes sense that they're putting this in a week early. So what does this do? This is, oh, Hera Clan. Okay. Yeah, this equip, if you guys aren't familiar with this, I believe this actually gave you, it was pure or something for having like Hera Clan members in your team, and it was never good because Hera Clan never was a usable team. You had like 2 Hera Clan characters that were good. You had this BOJACK, and then you had Gokua, and then like Bujin and Zangia were not very good. All right, slot 1 and 2 are 25% base defenses, and then slot 3 is 6% to pure strike and blast attack per movie's battle member. Okay, I mean, yeah, this is obviously very good, but it's specific to Hera Clan. Yeah, I mean, you just farm one of these. There's no reason to farm more than one. Okay, I mean, maybe if in the near future we get like another playable BOJACK character, and there's a situation where you actually want to run like multiple BOJACKs together, then this could be solid to have more than one. But I mean, it's super niche. You just farm one of these, I think. Okay, and then on top of this, there is a pretty interesting looking banner actually dropping today. It's an ultra banner. I will cover that in a separate video. I'll do a should you summon video on that because I think I don't even know what to think about it because I want to see what like the summon coins look like and the exchange shop looks like. There's a lot of different moving parts with that banner, so I'll do a separate video talking about that once the banner actually goes live in game here. But that's all the content we have for this week. We have the countdown going live. I'll be doing showcases for all the countdown characters like I usually do before these major celebrations. But this is it. This is the final update that we're getting before Legends Fest. You know what, actually? I think next week might actually be that app update. We'll see. They'll what they usually do is they'll usually post about the maintenance a few days before. Because they did mention there's going to be a massive app update this month, and I don't think they're going to do that in the middle of Legends Fest. So I actually think next week, the 19th, there's not going to actually be like new content in the game in terms of like characters or Zenkais or equips, I don't think. But there might be like an app update, which will coincide with Legends Fest Part 1, but that might be next week on the 19th. But let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.